You didn't arrive here by accident. You might think you were scrolling, browsing, just moving through another ordinary day, but something inside you knew to pause. Something within whispered, "Stay." That whisper is not small, though it may feel soft. It is the voice that has always been guiding you, the one that lives beneath the noise of your fears, the doubts of others, and the chaos of the world. Think back for a moment. How many times have you ignored that subtle inner nudge, the gentle intuition that told you to take a different path, call that person, accept that opportunity, or walk away from something toxic? Most of us silence it, dismiss it as imagination. Yet here you are listening now because deep down you've begun to understand. Those whispers were never random. They were messages, and one of those messages has carried you here. Pause. Feel it. Out of billions of possible videos, millions of distractions, and endless scrolling, you stopped here. Ask yourself why now? The rational mind will say, coincidence. But your soul knows better. There are no coincidences in the language of destiny, only appointments written long before you realized you would arrive. That quiet voice within you has been waiting patiently, waiting for the moment you would finally stop running, waiting for the moment you would realize that your life cannot be built only on logic, routine, and survival. Something greater is calling you forward, and the whisper, that gentle nudge you often overlook, is how it speaks. Consider this. Everything extraordinary that has ever happened in your life began with something small. A thought, a feeling, a moment when you sensed something was about to change. And right now you are standing in such a moment. The whisper is telling you that this is not just another piece of content you'll forget tomorrow. It is a reminder, a sign, a spark. You see, life rarely announces transformation with trumpets or fireworks. It begins quietly, like the stirring of leaves before a storm, like the first drop of rain before the downpour. That is what's happening to you now. Something invisible is moving, and your soul recognizes it, even if your mind doesn't yet understand. And here's the truth. Most people ignore this whisper. They drown it with distractions, numb it with noise, bury it beneath fear. But the few who dare to listen, they discover that it is not just a whisper at all. It is the map to everything they've been searching for. So the question is, will you listen this time? Will you allow this whisper to become a voice, this voice to become a guide, and this guide to lead you toward the life you were meant to live? Because make no mistake, you were meant to hear these words today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. And that means your journey has already begun. Life is always speaking to you. Not in the loud, obvious ways you expect, but in a secret language of symbols, patterns, and moments that most people dismiss as coincidence. But you, by being here, by staying present, have already proven you're ready to see what others overlook. Think back. How many times has something strange happened in your life? An unexpected encounter, a repeated number, a sudden opportunity. And you brushed it off as random. Yet deep inside, a part of you wondered, why did that happen? Why now? That question itself is a clue. Because the universe doesn't waste its energy. Everything has meaning, even if it's hidden at first glance. The truth is this. Signs are the vocabulary of destiny. They are how life whispers its guidance to those willing to pay attention. Some signs come gently. A song that plays at the exact moment you needed its message. A conversation overheard that feels written just for you. A chance meeting that changes the entire course of your journey. Others arrive like storms, shaking you awake when you've ignored too many gentle nudges. Signs appear not to entertain you, but to align you. They are markers on the map of your life, pointing toward the next step you must take. And here's the most important part. Signs are not given only to a chosen few. They are given to everyone. The difference lies in who is awake enough to notice them. Imagine walking through a forest. The path is filled with hidden markers. Stones placed in deliberate shapes, branches pointing in certain directions, trails of light breaking through the trees. Most travelers rush by, distracted, blind to the guidance, but a rare few slow down. They notice the patterns. They follow the signs, and those are the ones who discover the hidden destination at the heart of the forest. Life is no different. Right now in your life, signs are already waiting. They're woven into your relationships, your challenges, even your setbacks. That delay that frustrated you, it might have been protection. That closed door that broke your heart, it may have been redirection. What feels like loss today could be the seed of your greatest victory tomorrow. But here's the paradox. Signs don't always make sense in the moment. They only reveal their meaning when you trust them enough to follow. And trust is the key. Most people demand certainty before they act, but signs require faith. Faith that the thread you're following will lead somewhere beyond your current understanding. The very fact that you're here, watching, listening, and feeling the pull of these words, that itself is a sign. Not just a coincidence, but confirmation that your awareness is awakening. Because once you start recognizing signs, you'll realize they've been around you all along, waiting for this exact moment when you'd finally be ready to see them. The language of signs is not about chance. It is about alignment. And if you've noticed this one, imagine what else is waiting for you, just beyond your current vision. Every day, without knowing it, you are being tested, not with exams, not with questions written on paper, but with silent trials that determine the direction of your life. These tests don't come announced. They don't tell you, pay attention, this moment matters. No, they arrive disguised as ordinary choices, fleeting impulses, subtle opportunities. And because they are invisible, most people fail them before they even realize they were being tested. But you're still here. That means something. It means you've already passed the first test, the test of presence. Most people would have clicked away by now, seeking a quicker thrill, another distraction. But you stayed, and staying proves something profound. Your soul is searching for more than noise. The invisible test is this: can you remain awake when the world tries to lull you back to sleep? Can you notice the door when it quietly opens in front of you? Or will you walk past it, blind to the chance you've been waiting for? Every breakthrough, every transformation begins with these hidden questions. Think about it. How many times in your past did you have a chance to change everything, but you missed it? Maybe you didn't recognize it. Maybe you were too distracted, too afraid, too doubtful. That job you didn't apply for, that person you didn't talk to, that moment you ignored because you thought it's nothing. Those were tests, and each one carried the potential to alter your destiny. Life does not test you with what you already know. It tests you in silence and uncertainty, in the moments where your comfort whispers louder than your courage. The test asks, will you choose growth or familiarity? Will you choose courage or hesitation? Will you act as the person you've always been, or as the person you're becoming? Here's the truth. The universe doesn't punish you for failing these invisible tests. It simply repeats them, again and again, until you are ready. Every cycle of disappointment, every pattern you feel stuck in, it's not bad luck. It's the same test, waiting for you to finally recognize it and answer differently. And right now you are sitting in one of those moments. Being here, hearing these words, feeling this strange pull, it's not random. This is the test of awareness. Can you resist the urge to dismiss this as just another video? Can you feel the weight of this moment for what it really is? A turning point? The invisible test doesn't care about your past mistakes. It only cares about what you do now in this moment. Because the future is not shaped by what you once ignored. It's shaped by the choice you make right now. Most people will miss this, but not you. You've already proven it by staying. You've already shown that your awareness is shifting. And that means something extraordinary. This time, you're not going to walk past the door. This time, you're ready to step through. Inside every human being, there are two opposing forces pulling in different directions. One whispers, stay where you are. It's safe here. Don't risk, don't fail, don't change. The other calls from the horizon, come closer. Step forward. There's more for you than this. And between those two voices lies the greatest battle of your life, the battle between comfort and destiny. Comfort is seductive. It feels warm, familiar, predictable. Comfort says, why take the risk when you can stay right here? But what comfort doesn't tell you is that it quietly steals your years. One moment at a time, one excuse at a time, until you wake up realizing you never truly lived. You only existed. Destiny, on the other hand, is not comfortable. It is raw, demanding, and often terrifying. Destiny requires courage. It asks you to walk into the unknown without guarantees. It shakes you, stretches you, breaks you open so that the greater version of you can be revealed. And yet destiny is the only force that can give your life meaning. Every choice you make feeds one of these forces. When you choose distraction over discipline, fear over faith, hesitation over action, you strengthen comfort. But when you choose to rise, to move forward despite trembling hands, to say yes when everything inside you wants to say no, you strengthen destiny. Think about the moments in your life that changed everything. Did they happen when you stayed safe or when you stepped beyond what was familiar? That job you almost didn't take. That relationship you almost didn't pursue. That dream you almost gave up on. Transformation never happened inside the circle of comfort. It always began with the leap. But here's the truth most people ignore. Comfort and destiny cannot coexist. One will eventually destroy the other. If you cling to comfort long enough, your destiny fades into regret. If you pursue destiny with your whole heart, comfort dies a quick death. You cannot serve both. And right now, whether you realize it or not, this battle is happening within you. A part of you wants to stop listening, to return to the familiar scroll of entertainment and noise. But another part of you is awake, whispering, "No, stay, this is what you've been searching for." Which voice will you obey? The battle between comfort and destiny is not fought once. It is fought every day. Every morning when you wake up. Every time you hesitate. Every time you are given a chance to step forward or step back. That is the battleground of your soul. And the truth is this: only one side can win. Either you choose comfort now and regret later, or you choose destiny now and live forever in the fire of your true potential. The choice is yours. But remember, comfort may keep you safe, but only destiny will make you alive. Every scar on your soul tells a story. Every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night where you questioned your worth, it was not meaningless. Though it may have felt cruel, unjust, unbearable, all of it was part of a sacred process, the alchemy of pain into purpose. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the fire. And fire, though it burns, also purifies. It removes the illusions you've clung to, strips away the masks you've worn, and leaves only the raw, unshakable core of who you truly are. Without pain, you would never discover your strength. Without struggle, you would never know your resilience. Think about it. The people you admire most, the ones whose lives inspire you, are not defined by comfort. They are defined by the battles they fought, the losses they endured, and the courage it took to rise again. Behind every inspiring story lies a season of deep pain. And yet through that suffering, something extraordinary was born. A higher purpose. Your own life is no different. The very wounds you once wished away are the same wounds shaping the destiny you are meant to fulfill. That heartbreak that shattered you taught you to love more authentically. That failure that humiliated you taught you the discipline to succeed. That loss that hollowed you out created the space for something greater to enter. What once felt like destruction was, in truth, transformation. Here's the truth most people avoid. Pain will visit every life. You cannot escape it, but you can choose what it becomes. For some, pain becomes a prison. They lock themselves inside it, replaying their hurt, letting bitterness and regret define them. But for others, pain becomes a forge. They step into the fire willingly, knowing it will break them, but also knowing it will rebuild them into something far stronger. That's the essence of alchemy, turning what was meant to destroy you into the very fuel that propels you forward. Imagine a seed underground buried in darkness. It feels the crushing weight of the soil, the suffocating silence of the earth above it. Yet that very pressure is what activates its potential. Without the darkness, without the weight, it could never break open, never push through the soil, never reach the light. Your pain is no different. What once felt like a burden was the very condition required for your growth. The fire that scorched you is the same fire that purified you. The wounds that weakened you are the same wounds that made you unshakable. So ask yourself, will you let your pain chain you, or will you allow it to transform you? Will you let it bury you, or will you rise from it with a deeper purpose? Because hidden in your suffering is the map to your destiny. Pain is not a punishment. Pain is the invitation. And if you accept it, your purpose will no longer hide. It will emerge, radiant, undeniable, unstoppable. Life does not change in decades. It does not even change in years. Life changes in a single moment, the moment you decide. One decision made with clarity and courage can alter the entire direction of your existence. And yet most people spend their lives waiting for something outside of them to shift. The timing, the resources, the circumstances. They never realize that destiny begins the instant you say no more or this is it. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had began with one choice. The moment you decided to walk away from what was killing you. The moment you said yes to something terrifying but necessary. The moment you chose growth instead of excuses. Everything changed not because the world suddenly aligned, but because you aligned within yourself. That is the power of a single decision. It acts like a key. For years, doors can remain locked, your dreams waiting behind them, your soul restless for something more. And then one choice, one act of bravery unlocks everything. Suddenly, doors appear where there were only walls. The impossible becomes inevitable, and you realize that your freedom was never waiting outside. It was waiting inside the moment you chose. But here's the danger: indecision. Indecision is the silent thief of destiny. It keeps you circling the same mountain, stuck in the same patterns, watching your years slip away while you tell yourself, someday. Someday is the graveyard where dreams are buried. You don't need someday. You need today. The truth is, no one is ever ready. Waiting until you feel prepared is waiting for a day that will never arrive. You were not meant to feel ready. You were meant to feel the fear and choose anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Right now, in this very moment, you are standing at such a threshold. The fact that you are here proves that something within you is calling for a shift. The invisible test you passed by staying has led you here, to the decision point. Will you step forward into the unknown, or will you retreat back into the familiar? Consider this. History remembers people not for what they planned, but for what they decided. Revolutions, inventions, movements, all of them were sparked by a single decision from someone who refused to wait any longer. Your life is no different. The decision you make now may not feel monumental, but its ripple effects will echo through the years. So, what will it be? Will you choose fear or will you choose faith? Will you choose the excuse of tomorrow or the power of now? You cannot avoid the choice. You're making it even in your silence. And here's the miracle. The very second you decide, the universe responds. Paths clear, people appear, opportunities unfold, not because they were absent before, but because you finally had the courage to see them. One decision. That's all it takes. And this moment is asking you to make it. There comes a moment, after the doubt, after the hesitation, after the battle with fear, when the decision is finally made. And it is in that sacred instant that something almost mystical occurs. The world opens its doors. Paths that were invisible suddenly reveal themselves. People you never thought you'd meet cross your path. Opportunities you never believed existed rise to greet you. It feels as though the universe has been waiting, watching, holding its breath, until you made that choice to step forward. But understand this. The world doesn't open its doors because you are special. It opens because you finally aligned yourself with truth. You finally told life, I am ready. And life responded in kind. Think about it. How many times have you looked back on a moment and realized that everything shifted after one bold step? Maybe it was applying for that position you didn't feel qualified for. Maybe it was walking into that room, starting that conversation, or booking that ticket. At the time, it felt small, uncertain. But that step cracked something open. That step declared to the world that you were no longer content to hide in the shadows. And once you declared it, life met you halfway. Doors do not open to the timid, they open to the decisive. Not because life favors some and ignores others, but because life mirrors the level of commitment we bring to it. If you walk toward the door with hesitation, life hesitates. If you step with conviction, life swings it wide. The energy you carry dictates the energy you attract. And here's what's remarkable. When the door opens, it does not just reveal one hallway, it reveals 100. Each opportunity branches into more opportunities. Each step forward compounds into momentum. What began as a single brave choice becomes a cascade of blessings, connections, and possibilities. This is why successful people often say, once I started, everything began to flow. The flow was always there. It was waiting for their courage to activate it. But here's the paradox. The world does not open its doors before you step forward. It opens them because you step forward. Too many wait for proof, for certainty, for some guarantee of success before they move. But life doesn't work that way. Faith precedes evidence. Action precedes assurance. The doors will not open for the one who waits. They open for the one who walks. When the world opens its doors, it is not offering you a finish line. It is offering you an invitation. An invitation to grow, to serve, to expand into the person you were always meant to be. It is life saying, welcome. Now let's see what you're capable of. So the question is not whether the doors will open, they always do. The question is whether you will be bold enough to knock, brave enough to step through, and committed enough to keep walking once they do. Because on the other side is not just a new opportunity, it is a new you. You are not a victim of your past, nor are you a prisoner of chance. You are the writer of your destiny, the architect of your future, and today is a blank page waiting for your ink. Too often, people live as though their story is already written, as if the chapters have been sealed by past mistakes, old labels, or the limitations others placed upon them. But let me tell you the truth. The pen has always been in your hand. The question is, are you writing consciously, or are you letting the world scribble on your pages for you? Every day, a new page turns. Every sunrise is an unwritten chapter. You may carry scars from yesterday, but scars are not shackles. They do not confine you. They remind you. They are proof that you have endured, that you have survived battles others may never understand. And if you survived them, you now have the authority to write what comes next. But here's where most people get stuck. They mistake circumstance for authorship. They believe because they were born into poverty, betrayal, heartbreak, or failure, that their story has already been decided. They allow the past to hold the pen. They let fear, doubt, and excuses dictate the paragraphs of their lives. But the truth is, every author revises drafts. Every author makes edits. And no matter what was written in the earlier chapters, you hold the power to change the ending. Becoming the author of your story begins with one choice: refusing to hand the pen to anyone else. Not your critics, not your past, not your environment, not even your fears. Only you. The moment you reclaim that pen is the moment you reclaim your power. That's when you stop saying, "This is just how I am," and start saying, "This is who I choose to become." Think about it. What story do you want to read? At the end of your life? Do you want it to be a tragedy of untapped potential? A tale of what could have been? Or do you want it to be an epic of resilience, growth, and triumph? Because whether you realize it or not, you're writing it right. Now with every decision, every belief, every action. And here's the beauty. Your story doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. In fact, it is the imperfections, the conflicts, the setbacks, the comebacks that make it compelling. Every great story has obstacles. Every great character has flaws. Every great ending requires a journey. So stop waiting for perfection before you write. Start where you are, with what you have, and watch how the narrative unfolds. So let me ask you, if today truly is a blank page, what will you write? Will you write excuses or progress? Will you write fear or courage? Will you write regret or redemption? Because the ink is yours, the page is yours, and the world is waiting to read the story only you can tell. There is a future version of you calling from beyond time, stronger, wiser, freer, fully alive. That version of you already exists, not as a fantasy, but as a reality, waiting to be unlocked by your choices today. And here is the truth you must embrace. Destiny is no longer patient. It has been whispering, waiting, nudging you forward. But now it is demanding that you rise. When you close your eyes, you can sense it. The pull toward something greater. The glimpse of who you could become if only you stepped fully into your power. That future self is not asking you to wait another year, another season, another perfect time. That future self is asking you to stop delaying, to stop hiding, to stop living half awake. Because every moment you hesitate, the gap widens between who you are and who you're meant to be. Imagine meeting the version of yourself who refused to settle, the one who didn't let fear decide, the one who chose discipline when it was inconvenient, courage when it was terrifying, persistence when it was exhausting. That version of you is already celebrating victories you haven't yet claimed. That version of you is standing in rooms you haven't dared to enter, shaking hands with opportunities you haven't yet pursued, living a life that right now feels out of reach, but is entirely possible. But here's the challenge. Destiny is not delivered, it is demanded. It will not arrive gift-wrapped at your door. It must be pursued with urgency. It requires sacrifice. It requires faith. It requires that you stop negotiating with your excuses and start walking toward the life that has been waiting for you all along. And make no mistake, if you do not step into the destiny that awaits you, someone else will. The world will not pause forever. The opportunities that pass you by today may not come again tomorrow. Destiny does not wait for the hesitant. It accelerates toward the bold. So let me ask you, are you willing to meet the future version of yourself? Are you willing to carry the weight of growth, the discomfort of change, the fire of responsibility? Because on the other side of that fire is freedom. On the other side of that discomfort is greatness. On the other side of that choice is a life that will take your breath away. The destiny that awaits you is not a distant dream. It is an urgent call. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the decision to step forward. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because the longer you wait, the more you risk dying as a fraction of who you could have been. So hear this clearly. The destiny that awaits you is not waiting forever. It is calling you now. And if you dare to answer, you will meet the truest, strongest, most powerful version of yourself. The world is waiting for that version. Don't make it wait any longer.